Doc is back. Welcome to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join Doc and his guests as they discuss healthcare and the Caribbean community every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms.
This episode is sponsored by Scott McCullough.
I didn't grow up here, but Broward County has become home to me. This is where I settled. I raised my family here and started my practice here. For over 20 years, I've represented my neighbors, people who needed help in a stressful time. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, reach out to someone you can trust, someone with a proven track record.
When a car accident or personal injury sets you back, call Scott McCullough.
954-989-3435.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. Doc.
Yeah, how things?
So far, so good.
Right. Just want you to know I'm not only all mouth, I'm doing what I said. I went and voted early this morning at 7 o'clock.
Well done,
right?
Well done.
And this is not a presidential election, which is the ones I usually vote in. I've changed my ways. I'm going from wrong level up.
So the local elections,
yeah.
You have submitted your vote?
Yeah, because these are the guys some of them end up in Congress and have to fight my battle for me.
That's right,
and
that's right.
I ain't calling names, but we have to change up the White House. What is going on there is just total. My brothers in Canada, my big brother laughed at me when he started to talk about what's happening here. He laughed for about 15 minutes before, and it messed me up. I can't take it. Meaning, what kind of place are you living in, dog?
Well, they have their benefits there. We have ours here.
Yeah. And they have their troubles and we have ours. But we have bad trouble.
We do.
We don't have the good trouble like Mr. Politician said.
Not just the U.S., but especially here where we are in South Florida.
Exactly.
Yes, we have our challenges here as well.
And what is annoying me is that we are the laughing stock of all the countries in the world. Not because, yes, we have money, but Jesus, how can something that be happening?
Agreed.
No respect for the law, no respect for women.
Nothing.
Grabbing women crotch, all of that. And we put up with that? No, man. Yeah. So it's a reflection on us. Well, anyway, I want to, part of politics too is that healthcare. Let me tell you about healthcare in America. Number one, read my lips, people. It will never be free. Let me repeat that. It will never be free. I don't care who become president. All right? The best it will be is subsidized. That is what Obama and what, if the Democrats win, will continue, is to subsidize. Why I say that? I know it's easy. We live in America.
That's right.
We do not live in England, which is a socialist country. We do not live in Germany. We do not live in Canada. Free is a bad word in this country. Right? And I'm not criticizing. That's how the country is. However, subsidize is something we could deal with. You pay. Who could pay? Who can't pay, we help. We're already doing it with Medicare.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
That is what we have to focus on when people come around to you during election and asking what it is you really want. Not free healthcare. They laugh.
It's unrealistic.
Definitely, it is. So let me give you a piece of statistic that's going to blow your mind. We have the best means in the world for giving ideal healthcare. But yet we rank number 40 in the efficiency and our survival rate in the world. You know why that discrepancy? Because rich people from other countries get the potential care we could give more than the local citizens like me and you. Because number one, we don't understand how to get the service. And number two, we don't understand how to negotiate and understand what healthcare is about. And that's why we have the best healthcare in the world, but the people in America is not getting the best healthcare because it's not available. I'll give you a little example of 2 countries. By the way, I did some research on about 8 countries or 10 in the world. reviewing the healthcare system. All right? The biggest criticism they have of the United, everybody have little problems. The system is too hard to negotiate by the average citizen.
Agreed. The navigation of most things that are regulated.
Yes, and that's how business wants it.
Mm-hmm.
The more chaos, the more profit. The more people can understand, the better you do. If you understand something, nobody don't make profit. Make it so confusion. Take medicine. We use all them fancy language. You know why? Only I know what it means. But it's America. That's how business is. So we got to take out from medicine as much business as we can. And let me give you an example of how it's done. I think it's in Norway. Compare us to Norway. Norway have almost everything the American system has in it. They have copay, they have deductibles, they have insurance, everything. But you know what they do? They only have 2 copay. 25 for a certain population, 50 for the other. Right now in America, we have 100 copay. My poor wife busts her brain when the patient comes in. What's a copay? $5, $10, $20, $120. So even doing business, is that I lose money because many times the wife put $5 when it should be 10, and you can't collect your money over time. So that is part of the confusion in the insurance industry. So we don't understand it. So they could do anything to us. All right? Norway only have 2. I don't care what. One for a certain income, next for the other income. There are 100 copays. Every insurance product is equal in all the insurance companies. You see what I'm saying? So one don't do this, Humana don't do that. All of you have the same product.
So in your research, have you discovered why it is this way here in the U.S.?
The insurance industry can control the insurance industry. You all know what that means? That's like the wolf guarding the hen house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They could do whatever they want. There are no regulation about them. None of them.
Okay.
Obama tried to make one. You must do this, you must do that, you must do that with Obamacare. All of them hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say you must do a pap smear, you must do a mammogram. They don't want that. They want to play games so half the women wouldn't get mammograms because they're confused, and they will save the money that they will have to pay for $300. So we got to get hold of the insurance industry. Let them make a profit.
Right.
But they need regulation. For instance, all the products the same, all the copay the same. Right? So so you're going to ask, what is the insurance incentive to sell insurance if they don't have competition? Right? Good enough. Excuse me. You know what they do down there? For everybody you get in health insurance, you now have the right to market flood, home, car.
So other insurance products.
Right. If you get me, you say, well, Doc, why don't you bundle? You hear bundle going on?
Right.
Doc, why don't you bundle? Take your home, your car, your health, and we give you a nice little price for it. We need to bundle. That's how they make their money. But the market to get the patients, not because they're going to pay less for a procedure, but now we could take this person, and then we do things like Medicare Advantage is doing. We give them free gym membership. So even though the product, you nice them up with
and some other incentives.
How it helps.
Understood.
We make the system easy for you to navigate. So you want to go with me instead of the other insurance. That's one thing we have to do. The second thing we have to do, the biomedical industry, if we consider human life the same way, health in human life the same way they're telling you, you can't, exhaust in the car could kill you, so they limit that, right? We have to let these people know, if we do not have these modalities to diagnose and treat patients, more patients will die.
Right.
So you have to make it's a national request for the well-being of the whole country. You have to limit your prices, make your profit. But you know they can charge anything they want for any process. And each MRI company charging what they want. They are no standardized. Again, chaos in business. Now, first of all, that is not going to happen in our country anytime soon. We have to vote for people that go along that lines, but you need to know where you want. We want to control the biomedical industry, the people that make MRI,
right,
and people. We want to regulate the insurance company, let them make profit, but there's a limit on the amount of profit. Standardized co-pay, so I could negotiate. When I get insurance, I know it's either 20 or 50. Right now, 5, 10, 15, 20 patient, I know which every patient has something different. Right? So the last thing, and this is true for every other country than America, right? They control the pharmaceutical industry. Do you know the most expensive thing in healthcare today is medication? It's not my visit. It's not the operations. It's not the x-ray machine. And nobody controls them. Every country. Let me tell you, I'm giving you a little bit of Norway. Norway pay for everything except pharmaceuticals. If you live there, you have to get your own insurance. So the government are paying for that.
But there's a challenge with pharmaceuticals, though, because the government, as far as I know, the research, a lot of the research that is done, these pharmaceutical companies take on the expense of that.
All right. Then I have a question to ask them. I need to get on the show in one of them. How come birth control pills made by the same company sell it for $10 in Jamaica and sell it for $96 up here? Explain that to me. The same research, same company. Why is it $15 in JA? By the way, I said in a hint here. I know if my wife was in childbearing age and she need birth control pills, I know where it was going to come from. And many of my patients do that. Not only many of my patients buy medicine in Canada, but that's supposed to be illegal.
Correct.
But birth control pill ain't illegal.
Yes.
Right? So you understand? Explain. It's junk. It is reasonable. Junk. What we need to do, let them make profit. But you cannot make obscene profits. You can't pay 5 cents to make a tablet and charge $265 for it. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
you remember what they do with the EpiPen?
That's a bit much.
For allergies when you get bite from animals that it was like what, $50, and the reason $290. No reason. Except it's my product and I charge what I want.
Because they can.
Yeah, and at the same time, they control doctors now. They control what we charge. They control what we are paid. The insurance industry. I can't charge what I want when I do AS Direct.
Right.
The insurance tell me how much they're going to pay for me, and I could take it or leave it. Right? So we need to control the pharmaceutical and how they do it. They don't give you free medicines, but then they negotiate prices with the insurance. The government negotiate prices with them and say, look, you better come down to something. And they all still make the same medicine, but they're just making less profit. All right? So that's the first thing we got to do for healthcare people. We're going to have a whole show on this. I hope I could talk my wife into coming in here and the other, because she's the one that handled the dinero. You know them Jamaican woman is. She let nobody collect her money for you. They run all your bad dog in Jamaica. Even I don't even know how much money I make. I had to ask my wife. And the girl said, Jesus Christ, me say, I would say, give a patient a little reduction. Me say, mad, what? Then who go pay the rent when time reach? And I say, Mom, all I doing is the poor lady, I have no insurance, again a little reduction. So that's the first time our people need to do, negotiate, read up, learn what insurance is about. We're going to have a whole program on it.
So learn to navigate the system.
Right.
Then.
And then the second thing now, there are generalizations about disease that our people need to understand. All right? One, the biggest problem in life is not diseases that kill you suddenly. It is chronic illnesses that you live with all your life, but you can't get rid of. Asthma, hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, stress. What they call the thing now? Psoriasis. That is the big problem in a country. That's the care that most of us should be worried about. We shouldn't be worried about, oh my God, boy, I might get ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is so rare. The problem is it's bad. So when you get it, you're dead, very dead. So people scared of that, but your chances of dying of ovarian cancer is way less than you dying from heart disease. Yet when I look down the road, one set of fat people.
Well, that's the word is chronic,
right.
and
right.
You know, people are not doing a good job of maintaining their health.
I don't
overall.
I really don't think they do misunderstand. They think the fear of life is cancer. It is not.
Yeah,
Mr. Man die of pancreatic cancer. Everybody run around wonder. It is not likely to happen. Notice I'm not saying getting it. I'm saying dying from it.
Correct.
Because we are lucky to live in America. Cancer is becoming a chronic illness in America. When I trained, it was a life. When they say cancer, you're dead. I used to tell people, well, I tell the family, you make sure you talk to them. Breast cancer was a death certificate. Now it's a joke. Right? So you have to, first of all, understand what your problem is. All right?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what this program is all about. That's what this podcast is about. Sharing with you, you know, medicine.
Yes.
And terminologies. And
simple language.
In simple language, correct.
So you could, listen, you don't have to learn medicine like me. I spent 14 years. I'm the expert. But you need to, I don't deal with accounts.
Right.
But damn sure know about my mortgage.
Right.
And I know what interest rate mean. And I know what flood insurance mean.
So do your own homework.
Yeah.
You know, so be aware. Bring yourself up to speed on these things.
Yeah, but you're not treating yourself. You're just
correct.
Well, and I want to deal specifically for a while tonight on chronic illnesses. That is especially in our community.
All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. New episodes available every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. on your favorite podcast platforms. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
I didn't grow up here, but Broward County has become home to me. This is where I settled. I raised my family here and started my practice here. For over 20 years, I've represented my neighbors, people who needed help in a stressful time. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, reach out to someone you can trust, someone with a proven track record.
When a car accident or personal injury sets you back, call Scott McCullough.
954-989-3435. And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
And we are back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. Doc.
Right. Tyrone, first of all, let me send some greetings to my brother in Canada. My brothers, because we talked about healthcare.
Yes.
And one of the systems they study was Canada. And we could talk all that crap about Canada. Oh, Canada. I wish we had Canada here. Their system is an extremely good one. Of course, they made mistakes. Right? One of the mistakes they make is they never had copays. And if you miss it in the beginning, it had to come from behind and do it. Copays are put primarily for one thing, main thing. Right? To prevent people from having frivolous visits. So, let me tell you what I mean by frivolous visit.
Yes.
You know stuff up one day, you're coughing too much. Boy, let me go see doc. But I have to pay $25. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and buy some cough medicine down the road. I'm going to go and buy some Tylenol. And if in 2 days it don't get better, then I go into doc. You understand what it's meant to do?
So are you saying that happens in Canada now?
Well,
because of no copay?
They're crying out about the copay. Okay. The government say they want to pay one. Hey, we need to, because this thing is expensive.
Yes.
But once the horse out the gate, to pull it back, you have to make sure you put everything on, because when people hear what? Pay what? No, sir.
So in my world as an event or party promoter, that's why we never have free events, you know.
No, never.
I can't have a free event and then tell you the next one that I go and charge you.
You have to charge from. Yeah, but Canada is moving on. And by the way, one other thing I need to tell you, anybody who thinks solving healthcare will happen under one administration or in the next 5 years are dreamers. It's something in process.
Work in progress.
And always it's going to be until all of us dead.
Yes.
Example, you know when Medicare came into the United States? The year I graduated from undergraduate, 1965.
Age on yourself,
Medicare.
Careful.
Well, I went to school real young, I was bright, like 6, when I was 6 years old. No, but in D.C., that's when Medicare and Medicaid, at the time, I didn't know what they're talking about. Guess what? They're still working on Medicare and how many years is that? 1965 to now is how many years? Right, so people don't think you'll get a healthcare system that's going to be, they always have to be touching it up, changing things. But you have to get started. God bless Obama. Because once it starts, there's no reverse, like Canada is finding out.
Yes.
You can't come now and say it was a bad thing and take away all the health care from... no, you're mad. It will cause riots. So what they have to do is use that basic and tweak it. Change things in it as they go along. Okay.
So you mentioned in our previous segment about chronic diseases. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of those.
All right. First of all, let me make one statement. We cannot prevent cancer except in a few cases. And we are lucky because we know cervical cancer is caused by a virus. So we could prevent cervical cancer by vaccines. But not all cancers are caused by viruses. As a matter of fact, most cancers don't have anything to do with viruses. It has to do with your DNA, people. Hear me? I don't care how much fruit juice you drink and coconut water. Or your genes have to have the potential for cancer to develop. Let me explain to you why. You know what cancer is? Cells beginning to grow out of control. Do you know what happens in our normal cells, how they are programmed? They're programmed to divide. How in the heck, if you get a big cut, will it close up unless the cells divide and cover it? So division of cells is normal in humans, except we have a part of our DNA tell the cells when to stop dividing. As you get older, that device ages and it doesn't work as good. That's why cancers are found mostly in who? Old people.
Okay.
When you find cancer in young people, it's because they have a genetic abnormality that is causing that same change that happened with old people in time. So one is because the DNA is aging, it screw up. The young people is because they have genes that interfere with that mechanism when they are young. All right? So now we know the mechanism of cancer. Mm-hmm. That's why they're so hard to treat. If you kill the cancer, it's your own cells you're killing. So you were dead too. Right? That's why you get sores in your mouth and your hair fall off. And right? So the best answer for cancer, right? Number one is no. You can't prevent most of them. Mm-hmm. Couple we can prevent. We know cigarette smoking have something to do with it.
Stop smoking.
Right. But the majority, we don't know why. Right? But this we know is that we have learned to scout them out and pick them up before they really start getting out of control, the division. Screening, for instance, that's what mammogram does. Mammogram pick up a little lump and say, hey, this thing look like it's dividing you.
So I have a question now. So a lot of these MRI centers offer a full body scan.
Yeah.
How does that play into this whole cancer discovery?
All right. Well, right now, anybody who go for that, I want to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. That's my answer.
So
that you could do one thing to tell cancer, foolishness. It's nonsense.
So is there any benefit to that full body scan that they
as far as I'm concerned, zero.
All
right. It make you go home feeling good and it don't mean nothing. The important thing is to screen what we know. We know we can pick up breast cancer before it starts to spread anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We know we can pick up prostate cancer before it starts to spread. Most cancers.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of the few that is kicking our butt is pancreatic cancer. We don't have nothing to pick this damn thing up before it starts to spread. Cancer not spreading is not cancer in the way people think it is.
Okay.
Right? We talk about cancer with invasion. That's what people say cancer is. It isn't.
Okay.
Right? Mrs. Alexis had cancer of her breast. 11 years ago, she's still here. You know why? They pick it up before she had a symptom from a simple mammogram. Me, I had prostate cancer. How did they find out? I don't have one symptom. It's going for that thing that I hate. Let Dr. Pan put his hand up into my... Women say, oh, doc, you don't have to go through this. Oh, yeah? Get somebody to stick a big finger up your bottom. I hated that, but I went for it, and I did the blood test, so that when they found my intervene, hardly any early. That's why 10 years later, I'm here.
So... let's talk a little bit then about screening, because that seems to be a very interesting topic.
Right.
Some people believe in it, some people don't believe in it, some people skip around it.
Our answer to cancer is early detection. Mm-hmm. Nobody will die of any cancer if we catch it early enough. Right? That's number one principle. So you can't wait till you have symptoms. That means it's bad already. So we have gone through epidemiology for years and years and years, like they're doing with coronavirus. Mm-hmm. We have studied natural history of how diseases spread, and we are slowly picking up screening tests for most cancers. We have it for prostate, we have it for breast, we have it for colon, we have it, the organs that are giving us trouble right now, we don't have good ones for ovaries.
Okay.
Right? We don't have a good one for lung, even though they're working hard on it. And the one that's killing us most of all, we nowhere close to even beginning to find pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. But we are working on these screening devices. That's going to be the answer to cancer. Screen, find out early, treat, and you don't have to die of the disease. We can't stop it. We can't stop you from getting it because a lot of it is probably genetic predisposition, but we could stop you from dying from it. 2 examples. They consider a cure after 5 years. After 10 years, you're sure not to die from it.
Okay.
And me and Miss A reach both 10 years.
Excellent.
So me ain't worried about that prostate no more.
Excellent.
She ain't worried about the breast no more. As a matter of fact, she has to screen the other breast.
Yes.
Because it's only one. As a matter of fact, I give her a joke the other day and she literally put me out of the house. I said, Mommy, maybe you should take off the other one, She said, why? I said, boy, the one they put in, better than the one you have naturally. They put in some silicone.
You are trying to get yourself
they
in
get
serious
some
problems.
silicone breasts in Mrs. A. My God, it feels better than the one that's real.
Well, I'm going to ensure she don't listen to this show because she's sure to put you out.
Of course she cussed me. I said amongst the breast. I said, Mommy, hell, maybe the other one. But the point I'm making with that is I could see back in 1965, we didn't have prosthesis. Mm-hmm. So a woman had one breast, one side flat. She have to try pad it up. But now with fake. And by the way, I just give people a piece of answer. Silicone is the way to go.
Okay.
All right. The problem is with silicone, expensive. Mm-hmm. Right. Much more expensive than the saline. But the silicone feels like real and drops like real. Meaning when you look at them, you couldn't tell it. all the movie stars, all the rich people. How did I know that? When Mrs. Alexis' time reached, that's what the plastic surgeons say, Mom, the Cadillac and Benz of this breast is silicone. We were shocked because we thought it was saline. And that's how I got my information, right? But anyway, screening and preventing invasion, meaning the cancer has not gone outside of the organ in which it formed. That is the key. And screen. And don't listen to all that stubbornness on TV. Screening is fine. The radiation you get from screening your breast, I think you get more in your house between your microwave and the sun is more radiation than that you could get from that. So the radiation does nothing to you. That's different from radiotherapy.
Okay.
Where you have a cancer and that to put high radiation. That's different. I ain't talking about screening. Mammograms will not do anything to you. And guys, prostate, the blood test alone is not good. Oh, I don't want nobody stick a finger up my bottom. I'm going to do the blood. The blood by itself is not good. You have to get the blood and the exam. I'll tell you why. My PSA, which is what they do on the blood, never went abnormal. You know how to find mine? Doctor can't put his fingers and say, Winston, oh my God, I feel a little lump. I have to biopsy you. I went home and tell me, say, what lump? Yeah. Lo and behold, when he biopsy it, early beginning cancer. So you have to get the finger up your bottom, guys.
So, all right. So that one, is a sensitive subject.
I know, but it's the truth.
Amongst our brethren and brothers and such. Yeah, so you're saying that the PSA test from the PSA levels from the blood test, that's not enough.
No, both.
And you're talking not only from a medical standpoint, you're talking from a personal experience.
Exactly. A terrible experience, that finger. But I go and get that experience every year. And believe me, I'm straight. So don't think I'm going because there's some joy in this foolishness here. I hate it. By the way, like most Caribbean men, hate.
Yes.
But it's something, you do what you have to do.
Right.
I hate to work, but I have to go. There's Mrs. Alexis she think I'm all Trinidadian lazy, she said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. New episodes available every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. on your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
I didn't grow up here, but Broward County has become home to me. This is where I settled. I raised my family here and started my practice here. For over 20 years, I've represented my neighbors, people who needed help in a stressful time. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, reach out to someone you can trust, someone with a proven track record.
When a car accident or personal injury sets you back, call Scott McCullough.
954-989-3435. And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. Doc, so back to these chronic diseases that we started speaking about in our previous segment. Let's talk about a few of those.
Okay. Two that comes to mind. And the reason I choose these two, my community. Everybody gets it in the world, but my community, this is one of the things that is reaping havoc on my population. And remember, when you're talking about death, we're talking about disabling them.
Okay.
One is high blood pressure. I rather call it cardiovascular disease because it involves high blood pressure, your heart and your kidneys.
Okay.
We have plenty of people at home who can't run anymore because they heart failure, the foot swelling up. They're short of breath all the time. This does not have to happen. I think it's because a lot of my people do not understand what high blood pressure is. All right? And I want to explain it to them. And I have some news that they don't want to hear. First of all, people tend to have a genetic tendency towards both diabetes and high blood pressure. And it's look like black people tend to get a slightly higher dose hypertension than the rest of the nation. I have my reasons for it. I think it's genetically motivated. And remember, we have a more compressed gene pool. We call black people with slavery and thing. We have a compressed. And most of those diseases are recessive traits. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. They need to get part of the gene from the mother and part of the gene from their father. Dominant traits, you only get it from one parent. The other parent don't matter. So you need a dose. So it's easier to find a dose of that abnormal gene if we have a small gene pool. Mm-hmm. You understand? That's why I think we get high blood pressure more. And that all backs into slavery and all of that, where we put in the small pool. If we were spread all over Africa, I was likely not to be able to meet Mrs. Alexis. I might meet somebody from a Congo tribe somewhere. But when you compress it with slavery, I'm not surprised that the Caribbean and everywhere where slaves went, that we have a higher incidence of both diabetes and high blood pressure because they are recessive trait, like sickle cell. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The likelihood of finding two of the genes in two different people is higher if they're almost kind of related by 6 generations. In other words, if I keep marrying white woman and only have white woman, there's a good chance none of them are going to get sickle cell or none of the children or high blood pressure. Because we come from a different gene pool. We could still hook up at a lesser advantage. So don't worry where it comes from. Right. Everybody, oh God, how could I get high blood pressure? I eat right and I jump right. You're missing the boat. It has nothing to do with how you eat, what you drink, what you do. Now, genetics. Where the disease progress has to do with those things. But getting it isn't. Right?
So, I have a question then on this. What is the correlation between high blood pressure and heart disease?
All right, yeah. Okay.
Right? And if I'm hypertensive, does this mean that heart disease is inevitable?
All right. Good, very good question. Number one, you're moving, you're good, Tyrone. I was going to answer that down the road, but I'll do it now. All right? What does high blood pressure do? High blood pressure in itself don't mean nothing. So your pressure high, so what? All right? However, when it's high, it has a high head of steam. It's pushing. It has to really pump blood. It's like pumping blood through a piece of concrete pipe. Mm-hmm. And pumping blood through, one of them hoses that collapse. Right. There's less resistance, so it goes through easier. The tighter it becomes, the more the heart has to push to get this blood to go all over the body. So you're overworking your heart. So the first question is, if you continue, the pressure continues to be on the outer control, eventually the heart get tired. And it can't pump no more, so everything back up in your lung, you get short of breath. It's known as heart failure. That is one of the things that high blood pressure can cause. The second thing is the blood vessels in the brain are very fragile. So when the pressure get too high there and the head of steam, they burst and you get stroke. And the third problem is the kidneys is made up of a whole lot of fine blood vessels. And when they get really resistant and the pressure it damages your kidney. So those are the three. People end up with kidney failure, heart failure, right, and strokes. That is the biggest problem with high blood pressure that's not controlled now, people, meaning all those things can be prevented, right? And that's why I'm vexed with my people for. Right? Number one is, my pressure really high. I said, Jesus Christ, it's 200 over 110. Oh, every time I come to the doctor, that happened. Yeah, it ain't supposed to happen. So like you're blaming the doctor for the pressure.
So what they call, is it white coat?
That same stupidness. White coat.
Rubbish.
It's rubbish.
Yes.
No, it might happen.
That it might be slightly elevated.
But that's telling you it's pressure.
Yes.
Because people who don't have high blood pressure don't get white coat syndrome. So it's just a manifestation of your pressure. It doesn't mean that because it's only the doctor frightening you and they go up. Wrong. You have high blood pressure, people. Secondly, stop denying it. Accept it so you could do something. You don't have to die from it. You don't have to have stroke. You don't have to have heart failure. You don't have to have kidney failure. But acknowledge it. Right? Then what can I do about it? That's what I'm going to tell you. Oh, doctor, one patient come in. I running every day. I ain't eating no food. How could I have high blood pressure? Because not eating food don't give you high blood pressure. Right? And not running don't give you have the gene. Now, are those things important? Yes. Because you know what they do? They lessen the pressure. They don't get rid of it. They lessen it. If you have high blood pressure, nothing is going to cure it, people. You have it for life. That's what chronic means. Right? And I always like to throw family in it because it will tell people I'm not preaching something I don't do. Mrs. A have high blood pressure. 83 years, she get up every morning and take a tablet. Every single morning. And she playing tennis, she drinking rum, she partying, she eating. So she's carrying on a normal life because she take the stupid little tablet every day.
Same here.
Yes.
Same here.
Well, okay, look, we have a person out there.
Yes.
Take it every day and stop saying, oh my God, how I get high blood? You get high blood pressure because you're black and you have the damn gene. That's number one. And even the white people who have it, you have the gene. All right? What are we going to do about it, is it?
Right.
It will not go away by itself. You could improve it with lifestyle changes, but you still need your tablet. All right? So that's the same thing. I wanted to get that off my chest. Every patient who come in here, they come for other things, you know. But, you know, we have to do routine blood pressure. And blood pressure way up. How you get a doc? You mean I have high blood pressure? I say, yeah, and it's high. That mean you just get it? Well, every time I go to the doctor, I go up and say, yes, because you have high blood pressure. White coat, what? Foolishness.
So, you know, I remember when I was first diagnosed with high blood pressure and, you know, you speak amongst your friends and colleagues. Some of the older guys, I guess back then, were telling me, boy, you have to be careful how you take the tablet because, you know, it could kill the fella.
Okay, we get into that.
Yes.
But before that, I have to tell you about Uncle Home, who think coconut water was the answer. That man drinks so much coconut water, he nearly bust his damn bladder. Oh, coconut water, this bush and that bush and soursop and guava. Foolishness.
So my question to you
so I'm coming to you now.
Yes.
Do we have problems with the treatment? Yes.
Is that still prevalent these days?
Yeah, but listen to the answer. We have about 200 different high blood pressure tablets. And not all of them cause the same side effects. So if you're having a little erectile dysfunction, you need to say, Doc, listen to me now, man. I can't handle this one here because you have to take care of business. Right? So tell me what to do, Doc. And he can switch it.
Right.
Right? Sure, some of them do, but some, not all high blood pressure methods will make you lose your ability. One point I have to make, though. Fellas, don't blame the tablet for what happened to you normally. As you age, ED increases. Why? Because your testosterone is falling. So if that start to happen to you before you blame your high blood pressure pill, go to a urologist, let him screen you to see if you have low testosterone, and that may be the culprit. And you're blaming my little tablet for high blood pressure. All right.
And remember, we did a show on this a few episodes back, so don't forget to check out that one.
Yes. Right. And then, fellas, I need to tell you, man, it's expensive, but we have some things on the market. There's a brand new pump. You don't have to squeeze anything to they implant some things into the penis, right? And it's hooked up to a reservoir. Because you know what makes a penis stand up? The two big cavities at the side fill up with blood. That's what an erection is. So what they do, they put two collapse silastic, like plastic bags in there. Hook up to a reservoir under your skin. Nobody can see it. And you have a little valve under your scrotum, little one, that you can open and close the valve. So you could get an erection for life if you want. However, fellas, don't run out there and say, Doc, call me. Where can I get it? It's about 20 grand for it.
All right. So we're going to hold that for another episode.
Except for one thing, though. I can get it if I want. Medicare pays for it. And and I have Medicare. So if I want it, I could get it. The point I'm making, even if that happens, there are things we could solve. ED is not going to kill you. Stroke will. Heart failure will. And by the way, white folks have a different kind of high blood pressure. They don't have necessarily strokes and things. A lot of them end up with heart attacks and irregular heartbeats. So the races, even hypertension in blacks and whites are not treated the same way. Our high blood pressure is related to our kidneys.
Okay. All right, Doc. So let's talk now about diabetes. The other one.
Everything I said for high blood pressure, for diabetes, genetic-wise. Common in my race because the gene is floating around the place. All right, so let's put that aside. A lot of white people have it too. Now, does eating too much sugar cause diabetes? No, but it brings it out. Okay. So, in other words, if you eat properly and your diet, the diabetes may not manifest itself as severe or as early as if you live in a don't care life. All right? I'll tell you something about diabetes. You are born genetically with a defect in the gland that makes a substance called insulin. What does insulin do? Insulin kind of, when you eat sugar, it saves some of the sugar in your liver, and then it gives the rest to your muscles, your eyes, my mouth as I talk, and my brain all need sugar. Okay? That insulin is not working properly. So instead of distributing and saving, all of the sugar remain in your blood and you pee it away. So when time reaches and you need sugar, you're walking or running, you have no sugar stored. So your body starts to break down your fat. And that causes a toxic substances aside as a result of breaking down fats for energy. It's called ketones. And that now can cause coma and things. However, we have found that there is a connection between diabetes and high blood pressure. We don't know why. Nobody has proven it. But a lot of people, if you notice, who have high blood pressure have diabetes. Right? But the problem with diabetes is maintaining your sugar. Because it's not good when your sugar is high constantly. It can damage your eyes. It can damage your kidney. It can cause plaque to build in your, just from sugar metabolism. Okay, what can we do about it? Listen to people and oh Lord, I want to take no insulin. But common sense is your body is making no insulin. What should we give you? Insulin. But the reason we have backed off of insulin, people don't like the injections daily, and I agree with that. So we have come up with tablets, right? And most of the times, tablets can help the pancreas enough to get the levels of insulin back up to normal. Now, if that don't work, then you have to go for the insulin, okay? Another person, you mean I have to take the metformin is a popular drug? All my life? Yes. What is wrong with that? I have been taking 3 tablets every morning for the last 30 years. Right? Mrs. A, maybe 4. What is this thing about, every day? I'm more concerned with side effects. And again, metformin have very little side effects. Almost none. But this thing about having to take medicine for the rest of your life drives people crazy. Me, even keeping me alive and well, I taking it.
Of course, of course.
So this thing about taking medicine is such a big no-no. But yet these people, 6 supplements every day, 10 vitamins, some ginseng, all kind of thing. It don't make sense. Come on, people. When you are sick, you need medication, not soursop bush and all them things. Go to your doctor and get treated.
I have a question here for you. What can we do to prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes, especially those of us whose parents developed diabetes in their 70s?
Right. Very good question. Type 2 diabetes is type 2. But that question begs for an answer that we have not been able to prove yet, but we all believe this. If you live a good lifestyle, it wouldn't be cured, but it may onset later and be of a milder variety, meaning you don't need as much medicine. So it don't prevent you from getting diabetes, but you may get diabetes later in life, like the person who developed it at age 70, right? And very few side effects. The side effects are blindness and kidney and heart usually is minimal if you do the things the person is asking. Exercise right. Try not to eat too much carbohydrate. You can eat steak and all them things. Carbs is your enemy. Not all food. Carbohydrates is the enemy. So, good question. You can modify the expression of the disease, but you cannot prevent it from coming. You can even make it onset later.
All right. Well, Doc, those are all the questions that I had for this episode.
All right, and as usual, you know, we have to preach about our community.
Yes.
I hope the folks going out and vote. I went 7 o'clock this morning. My daughter, miserable, may wake up. Come, Daddy, let's go early before COVID people come back. So I was voting 7 o'clock this morning. Please get involved in the process. And number 2, make an attempt to understand whichever disease you have. You don't have to know all the disease, but if the high blood pressure running in your family.
Yes.
Right? And by the way, Mrs. Alexis' mother, aunt, cousin, all her sisters have high blood pressure and diabetes. What do you expect?
Of course.
And to prove it's a genetic, at least 2 of my kids have diabetes and almost all of them have high blood pressure.
Right.
So it's genetic. But once you have it, say, okay, first of all, know that you're at risk and live a proper life. Exercise, eat properly.
And take your meds.
Stress-free, even before the meds, to see. But once it starts, those are things you're doing before it even develops. Once it develops, you add medicine to it.
Yes.
So that is the advice I have to give them. And, you know, understand about health. It's not that hard, especially when we have programs like this. Let me big up myself here. Big us up. Right? There is information out there. Just make sure it's reputable, like we said.
Absolutely.
If you're going to read something on high blood pressure now, to do a fat check on me,
yes,
go to WebMD, go to Mayo Clinic, go to Cleveland Clinic. I'm talking about online. They all have articles on all these things. Yes. Go read them. If you have high blood pressure, go and read about high blood pressure.
That's right. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, get out there and vote first and foremost. All right. Learn to navigate the system, your insurance, your rights when you're paying for this insurance. Yeah. Get out there and get yourself screened. All right, get yourself screened for the various cancers. We spoke about it. The sooner it's detected, the sooner it can be managed. And those chronic diseases are easily manageable. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, always a pleasure, Doc.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
We appreciate your time with us on Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join us next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms. Doc is back. Although the host and guests are qualified professionals, they assume no responsibility for inaccuracies, omissions, inconsistencies, and any slight of people or organizations. Listeners should use their own judgment or consult an expert or their personal physician for specific applications to their individual medical problems.